Are neck bridges bad for your neck, aka wrestler's bridge? You will hear that they will destroy your neck, they'll cause you to be in a wheelchair, worst exercise for your neck. Well, it's a load of bollocks. So I'm going to explain why. Main three reasons that people say this, or that I've heard. First one, Mike Tyson said he injured his neck on a JRE, Joe Rogan podcast. Physios, medical professionals have told me that same mechanism of injury, and I've read a lot. This is a very common one I read, that it's the same mechanism of injury as high impact collisions. We'll get into that. I did wrestling BJJ all my life and bridges messed up my neck. Are you sure it was the bridging, the 5 minutes of bridging you did after the class, or was it the fact that your sport, where it's a contact sport? So we'll break these down. Mike Tyson neck injury. So Mike Tyson went on a Joe Rogan podcast. Since then, every single neck training video with bridging, you'll see, oh, Mike Tyson said he did this, it's, blah, blah, blah. Mike Tyson did crazy volume, 3-minute rounds. I think he did up to 10, 12 rounds of bridging non-stop, and maybe every day. We don't know too much about Tyson's training program. There's some made up stuff online. Don't know too much about his injury. I know he had surgery for a degenerative disc in his neck. But again, looking at these contextual factors, he was a heavyweight boxer. Later on in his career, he took more shots. Beginning, didn't take many because of his style, but regardless, he also partied hard, drank, smoked, did drugs. Not the best recovery protocol out there. He could have had it anyway. He might have had a neck problem anyway, maybe. Could have rehabbed it, you never know. But he might have hurt his neck bridging, but people hurt their back doing deadlifts, squats. Everyone knows someone that hurt their back deadlifting. I've hurt my back deadlifting once or twice. But is it because deadlifting is a bad exercise, or was it because I just finished a night shift and went to the gym? I was fatigued, my back was already a little bit sore from my job, etc. So always look at the contextual factors. Again, he could have hurt his neck bridging, but cannot blame the exercise in this case. Mechanism of injury. This one sounds smart, but when you look into it, it's actually doesn't apply. False equivalence. So axial compression, top down, and hyperflexion extension. So something like this: you hit the target head on, neck gets jerked. That's more of a side, but down or up. So, but this is only shown in extremely high force collisions, i.e., what we saw: American football tackle, rugby, car crashes, and those forces peak extremely fast, 18 to 25 milliseconds. Your neck muscles fire in what I've read, 100 to 200, or even 50, as low as 50 to 500, depends on the muscle. They contract, they react later on. It's not enough time for them to take the neck. The force goes all into the ligaments, the discs. So how does that compare to bridging, which is a controlled exercise? You control the range. You don't have to go into hyperextension or hyperflexion. You just do what you feel comfortable, and your neck is fully on. You're not jumping up in the air in a backflip, landing on your head to start each rep. If you are, you're a fucking idiot. But that being said, it just doesn't make sense. The neck adapts. Talking about axial load from top down, you'll hear people say this: the neck isn't supposed to be loaded. It's just so dumb, because you are compressing your spine sitting down. My spine's compressed right now. You're compressing your spine when you deadlift, overhead press, carry something heavy. So your spine adapts to these forces. Again, it's the amount of force. So there's an interesting study here. Effective loading, axial loading on the cervical spine of Congolese wood bearers. These women carrying 25 to 50 kilos and 4 meters long, so awkward to carry, for distances up to 8 kilometers. What's that, about 5 miles or something? So we've all seen these type of cultures where they carry loads on their head, and there's quite a few studies on these, and they looked at whether they had pain. So this is, again, it's one study, but it's fucking interesting, because pain in the wood bearers, a negative relationship between pain and years of work, meaning they worked a long time. The more they worked, they had less pain. So it's almost like they adapted over time due to their job. Pain didn't correlate with degenerative signs, like disc injuries, how the disc looks on a scan, narrow canal, your spinal canal, where the nerves, spinal cord passes through, or neck stiffness, or relationship to their age, height, or weight. Pain radiating to the arms or the shoulders, not related to what they found in the neck. And this is the most interesting thing. Okay, it's looking a bit wispy. Women with the highest pain scores were the ones with the least degenerative changes. So the ones that had a good looking scan, they had more pain. So no relationship found between degenerative changes and wood bearing. I don't know what's going on with this highlighting, but yeah, and obviously that's not bridging, but it's still axial loading and a much longer time than you would be bridging. Wrestlers, BJJ guys blaming bridging doesn't really hold up, because your sport, snap downs, neck ties, face cranks, neck cranks, punches, kicks, knees, slams, land on your head. That's way worse for your neck than a bridge. Bridge is protective of that. That's why I like bridging for combat sports, because you often you might land in that position, or even just getting up off the floor. There's a lot of times where you use that strength. By the way, made my own neck training program. I'll put the link in the description. You can use code NECK50 at a checkout for half price. It's a full 16-week program, goes from complete beginner all the way to up to advanced. It does have bridging in it, but I've regressed it so even your grandma could do it. And everything in this video I'll put in there with a bit more detail, everything you need to know, everything I know I've learned of relevance over 15 years, how to train the neck, specifically to have a combat ready neck. So go get it. So yeah, my personal experience, bridging for 15 years, never get neck pain. I don't want to be cocky, but I just never have. Did get quite a little bit of stiffness, not so much pain, but very stiff neck after the first year, but that's because I was a moron. I was waking up 4 o'clock in the morning. I was waking up 4 o'clock in the morning for my job. I had a cushion on the floor ready. As soon as I literally jumped out of bed, started bridging, no warm up. So no shit, I had something going on. Since then, trained more intelligently, and my neck feels great. Sometimes thoughts creep in that say, oh, what if they were right? What if it is bad for the neck? What if I am damaging the neck? But usually that's when I haven't trained my neck for a while. I'll go do a workout, do some bridging. Sometimes while I'm doing it, I'm thinking, maybe it is bad. But then after, my neck always feels better every time I've done that. So far, these people telling me it's so bad for the neck, it's not been proved. Not been the case for me. Neutral is bullshit, by the way. You can't have a neutral spine in life, let alone combat sports. Good luck trying to stay in neutral. You need to be strong in all directions of your spine. In conclusion, don't fear bridging. Listen to your body. Sometimes you might just be doing too much too soon. Might be doing too much range of motion. You've got to really scale it back. But it's not for everyone. Maybe you just don't like bridging. Some exercise is not for you. For example, there's a guy in here, great channel, old school strength. Very strong guy, Titanic neck. I think he got injured doing a bridge once, as far as I recall. I don't think he's the biggest fan, but he built his neck by doing manual resistance, getting a partner to push down and do manual like that. And obviously the results show. And I've seen people build massive necks like that. But just me personally, I do like a full bridge. I do like just position, obviously for wrestling and stuff like that. I do like it, and just makes the back of the neck, for me, I just like it. So train neck if you want to be hard to kill or look good. Not everyone is into martial arts, although that is the biggest motivation, to be hard to kill. But if you want to look good as well, nothing worse than a massive guy, a big strong guy, and he's got a pencil neck. It doesn't matter how big he's strong. If you've got a small neck, you still look like a weed.